Now we've covered many guns on the channel, ranging from subguns to ARs to battle rifles, and soon we'll even cover some bigger sniper rifles. But today I think it's time that we finally put the hate into 308.
So how do we know which one General Shepard's going to kill first?
I don't know. I guess General Shepard's going to kill me first. I don't know. Who's in the fire pit alive, I guess is my question.
Well, I'm the one with the skull mask, so because I'm getting shot with a revolver, and I guess that means you're getting burned alive.
Anyway, roll the montage.
Welcome to Ghost Gun Review. Wolf is dead. I killed him. I took all his shit. So, now this bad boy is mine. And, well, I don't know as much as with guns, as Wolf does, but, so I guess that's the video.
It is, you little shit.
I thought you died.
I went to take a piss. What do you mean? Get out of my fucking chair.
But it's comfy, bro.
I don't give a f. Get out of my chair. It's my review, my channel. Get out of here. You're just a guest. You little shit. Jesus Christ. I'll leave you alone for 5 minutes.
This is bullshit.
The f it is. Alright guys, so with that interruption thoroughly out of the way, we can now get back to what we're really here for and what you guys are actually here for, which is yet another deep dive into one of my personal rifles. And one that I was very excited to get, and I know you guys have been enjoying very much on the channel ever since I debuted it just a few months ago. I swear, this is one of the fastest growing popular guns in my collection, and it's one of the newest I have. Actually, it's the second newest. The other newest one's sitting over there, but you don't even know about that yet. If you know, you know. And if you don't, well, just sit back. You'll find out. So, let's get into a brief history on what exactly this is in front of me and why you should give a shit. Because I'm sure many of you probably have an idea of what this is, but may not know exactly where it is or where it comes from. So we're going to talk about that. So, to the untrained, this is an FAL. And that's really all it is, if we're going to be honest. It's an FAL that is chambered in 308, as you can see, chunky little mag. That's a 20 rounder, just like a normal 308, like an M14, an SR25, any of those sort of bigger battle rifles or DMRs that use 308 with a chunkier mag like this. Very similar, and very, very well known. The FAL has a very good track record, and a very clean one at that. But moving into the current era, it needed some changes, and not only that, a specific region of the world needed these changes. Specifically South America. I know there's memes of me talking about this on the internet, that's fine.
Today's subject, slavery.
And this is the SA58. So, what is the SA58, and why does it relate to South America? Where am I going with this? Well, you see, South America had a problem. Its police forces needed something that would, how do I put this? Take care of the locals, if you will. They needed something with a little more punch, a little more oomph, that could be used in a CQC or CQB environment, closer quarters, that sort of stuff, and they needed it to hit hard and they needed it to be loud and aggressive. So they saw the FAL and they're like, hey, what if we made that more modern, alright, for modern use, but also made it short and turned it into a flashbang dispenser that also ends careers in an instant. And then you get the SA58. DSA said, don't worry, Chief, we got you. And they made this in a couple different variants. This is not the only one. There are a couple others. And Echo 1 picked up on that as well, so don't worry, we'll get into that. But this is the SA58. And you might know this, as I did, from gaming. Gaming has loved this gun for a long time, whether it be Battlefield in various different forms. MW2 had it, although it used more wood furniture rather than modern furniture, but it was still an SA58 because of some of the features that were on it. And of course, one of my favorites is Black Ops 2, where I dominated with the OSW, which is, of course, the shorter barreled version of this gun, the SA58 OSW from DSA. And one of the more interesting ones is Rainbow Six Siege, which I know has its own history. But the SA58 is used by the boat forces, specifically Capital, or however you pronounce that. I apologize if I butcher his name. But he uses one of these. And what's interesting is, if I'm remembering correctly, he's from Bolivia, which is exactly where I was talking about earlier. This rifle sees a lot of use in South America. So, it's just an interesting little tidbit as, someone who always talks about this because it's cool. This gun is used not only in real life, but also in games in its proper setting, and it works really, really well. So, let's get away from South America here before I, go on a phlegm-fueled rave fest. But, with that said, let's get into what this gun is in front of you. Not necessarily the real-world counterpart, but what it is in the world of Airsoft. Now, this is the Echo 1 SOF3, or Mod 3 as I call it. And there is a Mod 1 and a Mod 2. The Mod 1 has the 9.5-inch barrel as a traditional SA58 that you're used to seeing, the really short one. The Mod 1 also has the traditional wire stock that folds to the side, rather than the full stock that you see here. But that's what makes the Mod 3 different from the Mod 1. Now the Mod 2 also has that folding stock, the wire frame, but it also has a slightly longer barrel than the Mod 1, but a slightly shorter barrel than the Mod 3. So, in my opinion, the Mod 3, if you're playing outdoor, is the way to go because it gives you the bigger battery space in the back, which is in your stock. A little thing in the back right here. But it also gives you the best of both worlds in terms of barrel length, because you have a 13.5-inch barrel on this one versus the 9.5, and I think it's the 11.5 or 12-inch on the Mod 2. This one is perfect for outdoor. So, in my opinion, this is the one to go with if you're playing outdoor. If you're going indoor, pick one of the other two if you can find them, although they've been discontinued for a very long time. I do think that some other companies make them now. I think DSA has some licensed ones if you want to go and find those. But in terms of this one, this is an Echo 1 SOF3. It is very, very similar to all the other ones, to the ASG, to the DSA. Very similar internally. It's all version 3 compatible, except for the hop-up unit, just like the ASG one. Very, very similar across the board. So, no real difference between them. The build quality on this one is very, very sturdy. I like it a lot. And let's cover some of its features. Out of the box, as I said, it does come with that 13.5 barrel, and on the end of it, although I have a different muzzle brake on it right now, it does come with an orange flash hider attached to 14mm negative threading. Thank the Lord, the standard. Thank you, Echo 1, you're God. But it also comes with a handguard that I don't currently have on here, which is this guy, the OG polymer, of course, not wood, triangle handguard. The pyramid handguard, if you will. So, it does come with that out of the box, which is actually rather comfortable, I'll be honest. Even for someone with bigger hands, I can get a nice C-clamp on here. It had to go for me for videos and such. I had to get a different one. Otherwise, I would have honestly kept this one. This one's just fine. Not a lot of accessibility for added attachments or anything. But as is, works just fine. Put that back over there. Now, moving back from the handguard, you of course get to the nice railed dust cover that comes with the gun for mounting optics or what have you to it. And it is very, very sturdy. No complaints whatsoever from me. It holds on really nicely. It's got a fair number of screws on it that keep it in place, so it's not going anywhere, and your optic will be zeroed if you're somebody like me who zeroes your optics on your airsoft replicas or your real steel guns. Those of you that don't, I know you exist and I see you. You should probably consider doing some more zeroing on your stuff. Just word to the wise. Anyway, on this side, the right side of the gun looks fairly barren. Aside from the bolt that is obviously visible on that right side for ejecting brass in real steel, or in this case accessing the hop-up on an airsoft gun. Where things get a little more interesting is on this left side. So, as you can tell, not very lefty-friendly for my left-handed shooters. I'm sorry, this may not be the gun for you unless you want to adapt to it. But on this side, we do have our 3-position safety. We have safe, semi, and full-eye semi. And that always goes all the way back when we're not doing anything. We have our bolt release down here. It's a little paddle. You just pull down on it when the charging handle is pulled back. Which leads us to one of the coolest things on this gun, which of course is the charging handle, which is just a nice, solid pull. It just feels really good. You do have to be careful with this one though, because the little slide that keeps the charging handle in place, if you're too aggressive with it, will snap off on you or shear off because it's held in by a screw, and it's made out of aluminum. So anyone who knows how metals things work when it comes to aluminum, if it's not CNC'd aluminum, normal aluminum is very soft and will come off when it gets hot. And since you're playing outdoors and this is a black gun, it's going to absorb a lot of heat. So just keep that in mind. Be careful with your charging handle. If it snaps, they don't make any spare parts of the charging handle. So do be careful with it. You don't want to break that. But when you pull that back, I typically will push it forward just to keep that charging handle nice and safe. But you have your bolt hold open right here, which is very, very nice. That way you can access that hop-up unit, and when you're done, you just come over to the other side, pull that down, and you get that nice, sexy bolt sound. That just fills the heart with glee. Moving back from there, you do ordinarily get a rear iron sight. Mine is not here. He's on a hiatus till I can find one. Don't worry about it. He's okay. I'm not suffering without him. But moving back from there, we obviously have our full stock, which is where our battery space is. As I mentioned before, just slide that down and out, and that is where your battery goes back there. I have it wired to Dean's right now myself, but it does come standard as Tamiya. So you'll get plenty of use out of that. And the last thing to talk about, before we move on here, is oddly enough, this little boy. Now, as many of you will know, this is an FAL high cap mag. And ideally, this is really the only mag you can get right now for an FAL. However, you all know, or any regular will know, I really don't like that sound. I just don't. I think it's gross, and you're lucky to get a high cap that works all the time with that sound. So, you know me. I went looking for mid-cap mags. And I'm going to tell you right now, those of you that know that those are not easy to come by for this particular weapon, or any of the other FALs made by ASG, Classic Army, or DSA. Not easy to come by. But I found them. And I have them. Not just one, not two, not three, but 7. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mid-cap mags for my sweet baby SA58. And let me just tell you, they rock and lock so very nicely. Which is also a good point. Your little paddle down here just like an AK or an MP5 or anything like that. Little paddle, push that forward, and that comes out. It's a simple rock and lock, just like an AK. So nice. I don't own an AK yet, but man, is this satisfying to just rock and lock in, and it sits so nicely, no moving, no nothing. So good. And these mid-cap mags are a godsend. So, without further ado, let's take her outside and see what she can do. Okay, so now that we're outside, let's talk a little bit of the internals on this bad boy. So, as you guys can probably see right now, as I've got that up right for here, we're shooting about 345 to 355, 360-ish FPS at just about 1.5 to 1.6 joules, making this guy perfect legal for any outdoor field that you could ever need. And of course, we have it racked up with our mid caps from Classic Army. I have it loaded up with an 11.1 LiPo, and we're using 0.25 gram BBs. Now, if I take some shots here, it gets some pretty, even just being entirely stock in here, it gets some good fire rate in general. Now, inside, it does have a rotary style hop-up unit, just like a G36 or an AUG does. It's very, very similar, and what's nice is that gives you a nice consistent hop all the way through your shots, and it gives it to you very easily. Now, what makes a difference here is how fast this thing shoots, because it goes real fast. Now, if that doesn't sound like a good, consistent fire rate on both semi and full, I don't know what does. Now, what makes a difference, though, is going from a mid-cap mag to the heinous, rattly, annoying high-cap mag. And I just want to demonstrate to you guys why I hate the sound of this winding wheel so very much. So, as you saw, we got a good, consistent, about 10 seconds of burp. We're going to flip it down to burp again, and we're going to see how long we get with this high cap before we're SOL. Starting to skip. So I got about 5 seconds of burp, and it's already skipping. So we got to go back, and we got to wind again and 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 again. And now that you finally have this thing wound up 9 bajillion times, you can get back to killing, because prior to that, you weren't. Got a nice consistent, and even now, even after just that short burst, it's already starting to skip on me. Yeah, it's already starting to skip on me, and we're right back to the 9 bajillion wind. This is why this thing is a piece of shit. Bruh. And we can just stick the glorious mid-caps that have been working so very nicely for us in the first place. So, all that said, I think it's time for a little bit of a display of power with a cream soda penetration test in honor of Brandon Herrera. We got our 5 A&W cans lined up, going for penetration test in 3, 2, 1. Alright, well, we got through the first one. Let's see. Through first one, through second one, and did it bounce off of this one? Yeah, it looked like it bounced off, so it went through 2, put a dent on the third one, and did not go in. So, just to display the power, we have 1, 2 and a half dead homies. The other 2 in the back are just fine. They're chilling. Don't worry about them. Well, we got 2 dead cartel members and 1 that's definitely going to be limping around for a little while. You want to do swaps here? Sure. You want to do swaps here? Take that. I'll take this. So. so windy. Try flipping down the fun switch over here. There you go. Now we're cooking. You're having more fun than I am. What the hell? I think you gotta beat it. Gotta beat it. That bag. I'll take this. I'll take that. Alright guys, so with that, let's get back in here and let's talk about some of my personal add-ons, as we normally do with these rifle deep dives, whether it be more in-depth or not. And first and foremost, let's talk about the main edition that I'm most proud of, which are these mags. These are classic Army mags, and they just work. They work so well. In fact, this piece of trash that came with the gun, granted it's one of the better high caps I've used, but you know what? Garbage. Classic Army knows what's up. These are nice steel mags. They have like a nice feel to them. They're nice and texturized. Hold about 120 to 160 rounds. They just work. I have no gripes against them whatsoever, and the fact that I have 7 of them is a glorious day. So, if you ever happen to get your hands on an Echo One FAL, please do yourself a favor. Try to locate some of these. I know they're hard to find, but they have come in stock recently a couple of times over on Evike or Airsoft Megastore and Airsoft GI. That's where I found mine, was from Airsoft Megastore. Not sponsored. It's not a sponsor segment. Just letting you guys know, that way in the comments, if people are asking where I get these things from, I can just say it up front. I got mine from Airsoft Megastore. They happened to just magically appear out of the ether. It was glorious, and so I went ahead and grabbed 7 of them. Last I looked, there were still some in stock. I can't say for certain that they will be that way for long, but if you have one of these Echo One SOFs or are planning to, do yourself a favor, get a hold of some of those, because they make your life so much better. Which brings me to the next add-on, which isn't a feature of this gun in particular, but is again an add-on that I've really been enjoying. It is actually this placard, or mag pouch setup, from Wild Custom Gear. Again, not sponsored. I just like their stuff. I ordered these, and they straight up custom made them to fit any 308 mag. It's amazing. And they have nice retention. They're not going anywhere until you want them to. And then once you're good, just rip and reload, and you're good to go. So, shout out to Wild Custom Gear. Not sponsored, but if you guys want to get yourselves some nice 308 mag pouches, that's where I would suggest doing it, because they are fair priced, and they're very nice. I mean, just personally. Anyway, let's get back to personal editions I've made on this gun here. We'll go ahead and start with externals, because internals, there isn't a whole lot I've done to this thing internally. So, externals. Of course, we're going to go from tip to butt, and we'll do it that way. The main thing that I've added on to the front, of course, being the handguard, which is a quad rail with numbered rail segments for added flavor, and is made out of aircraft-grade aluminum, which is a lot more durable than you would think, given some of the recent aircraft things going on in the world. It's very nice, very solid, got a nice weight to it, and much like Zenitco products for AKs, is a very similar aesthetic for an FAL. I don't know if it's just me, but it does have a Zenitco sort of styling to it. That sort of finish, the black finish with the aggressive laser cuts into the aluminum there. I don't know if it's just me, but the aesthetic is very, very pleasing to the eye, and I like it a lot. So, plus, like I said before, it allows me to get better video with this, because my grubby little hand is not in the way of the scope cam when it's placed back here. I can place it up here, and you guys can see everything that's going on nice and clear. Attached to that handguard, I of course have my Magpul AFG, because AFG Master Race, and that's about it here. Up ahead of that, we of course have my traditional PTS 51T tri-prong muzzle brake that allows for the easy installment of a suppressor system, or mock suppressor system, if you should want it. I don't currently run it on this gun because I think the FAL honestly looks better without a suppressor. That might be a hot take, let me know down in the comments below, but that's my personal take. I prefer that a lot more. And the last thing, really, that we have going on here is the optic setup that I've chosen, which is, of course, a reproduction, not an actual Trijicon. I'm not that Gucci yet. But I have a reproduction, this is a 4X ACOG, which I'm also probably going to get flamed for saying in a weird way. Most people say ACOG, I don't. I say ACOG. I don't know which one's right. I've always grown up saying ACOG. Sue me. Or just hate on me in the comments, I guess. Whichever one works for you. But that really rounds out my personal additions externally. Internally, let's talk about something I had to do almost immediately with this gun, which was reinforcing the sear on the charging handle. Now, it's not that big of a deal, because not all of these guns have this problem, but mine, after 2 bolt pulls, the charging handle went completely limp. And that's because the sear that keeps it in place had broken loose, and the little screw in it had basically fucked the entire thing. So the screw was no longer in the charging handle, keeping the sear in, and the charging handle was able to just move freely back and forth without pulling the bolt back, which is a big no-no. You don't want that, because that's how you access your hop-up system. So I just simply reinforced it by rethreading it and putting in a bigger screw, a stronger screw more specifically, and we've been good to go ever since. Other than that, internally, I've left this gun alone, because this gun, as I mentioned, is version 3 gearbox, like an AK or any other version 3. I mean, AKs are the big ones, but I'm going to let it ride out for as long as possible before touching anything internally. However, I will let you know at some point I'm probably going to be diving into it to upgrade some of the things in here that really need it. Now, what are my opinions on this gun out of the box? Well, if you're a guy like me and you like the FAL and you grew up, with games that had the FAL in it a lot, this is definitely one of my cooler weapon systems to take out to the field. It gets a lot of looks, and it performs really, really well out of the box for the price that I paid for it. Granted, these are not able to be obtained anymore out of the box. You're going to find these primarily on the used market like I did. And you're probably not going to get your hands on this specific model anytime soon from like a retailer of any kind. But I would definitely, if you're looking for something a little different from an M4, something different from an AK, you want to get outside the box, I definitely say the FAL is the way to go. With the caveat that you can find one that is working, specifically, one that's not over your budget of what you're willing to spend, and of course one that you're able to locate mags for. Because I will tell you straight up, the mags were the hardest thing to find for this gun. The handguard wasn't that hard to find. I already had all the other stuff that I needed for it. It was just finding mags to make this gun usable that were a bit of a pain in the ass. Outside of that, great gun, great performance out of the box. Couldn't be happier with this purchase, and it's a great addition to the collection, and I will be using it a lot on the channel from now on. Now that I have mags and a handguard and everything, there's no limitation holding me back from taking this out to the field, either for videos or just for fun, and just absolutely having a great time with it. It's got a really good weight, it's very sturdy, it's really reliable, and I have no complaints with this rifle whatsoever. And I really hope that you guys have enjoyed seeing me play with it as much as I have showing it off for you guys. And that is going to wrap up today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope that this was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions whatsoever, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. Also, let me know what you guys think of this rifle on your own, if you own one, or just from what you've seen here on this video or my other videos on the channel. Let me know what you guys think of this rifle. I personally, like I said, I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's something different from a typical M4. And that rock and lock, man, I'm not going to lie to you. That is that is the best feeling ever in terms of this rifle. That is a clean reload feeling. And until I get an AK to compare, that's probably one of the most satisfying reloads I have in my collection. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video because I'm rambling and I just really enjoy this gun. You all have a fantastic weekend. Thank you all so much for watching. And for all of our new subscribers, I hope you guys have been enjoying the new content. And some of you, this might be your first ever deep dive. If you guys want to see more, I have plenty more. I have a full playlist of weapon deep dives called Wolf's Gun Locker, where I've done all of my other reviews, some of them not great compared to my current content. But hey, we all have to start somewhere, and I want to thank you all for humoring me. So, as always, this has been Wolf, and I hope to see you guys next time I hit the field. Thanks, guys. Take care. I'm going to go shoot this gun some more. This thing is awesome.